I hate Eric Swalwell. In fact, we did the America First Warehouse podcast, and they have the segment called "Who Would You Like to Beat in a Blanket?" Like put them in a big burlap sack and beat them with a sock full of soap. And I said, my gut is saying Eric Swalwell. Now that would have been probably exactly a week ago right now. So my instincts were right. But my instincts were wrong when I first heard this story because I was like, what did he do? Show me something real. And isn't it a kind of a coincidence? I know it sounds crazy like I'm defending Eric Swalwell, but I'm coming from this world of liars. And I used to love jumping in the car when we heard someone chick. We went to this one guy's house and he wasn't home. We went there to beat his ass. We rubbed all over his door. He's a local Native American artist here in New York City. Oh, sorry about that. Enrique Tario is calling me. Clearly he doesn't watch my show. Frankie was her name, and she alleged that he made her give him a hand job. So we're like, well, let's go get him. So we go to his house. He's not there. Derek, my buddy, rubs all over his door. There was some dog shit. And then we find out he's having a show. And we're like, it's on. We're going to defend Frankie's honor. We go there, and we're like, dude, what the f***? You like raping girls, huh? And he goes, what? And we're like, most of the videos and things I see, the rapist, molester, whatever gets caught and he starts his pants and trying to leave. And then he said something that was very curious. He goes, let's call her right now. Freaking out about this allegation. That's also not very of you. Then she found out we did that, and guess who she was furious with? Not the rapist, but me and Derek for embarrassing her. In other words, she was lying. She almost ruined this guy's life. So that's where you start out with this, right? 3-5. You go, oh, okay. He's running for governor. He's a horny dude. And so they buried him with allegations. And maybe he was just like, maybe he cheated on his wife.
Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
And hello, I am Gavin McInnes.
Together, we're Compound Censored.
And we'd like you to subscribe to our network that has more fantastic content you could shake a stick at. Use this promo code for a one-time super offer.
Do it. It's uncensored and oh so entertaining.
But how bad can it be? I'm deeply sorry to my family, staff, and constituents for mistakes. Blah, 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 blah. I will fight the serious fake allegation. See, this is what Terry said, and it was true. This is what Fred said, and it was true. This is what Russell's saying, and it's probably true. However, I must take responsibility, blah, blah, blah. I'm aware of efforts being made in immediate expulsion, vote against me and other members. Expelling anyone in Congress without due process within days of an allegation being made is wrong. Yes. It's also wrong for my constituents to have to be distracted from my duties. Therefore, I plan to resign my seat in Congress. I will work with my staff in the coming days, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he quit. That doesn't tell us anything. Here he is in happier days. What an absolute goof. Again, I've always hated this guy. I'm just trying to keep a calm head because I'm not a bitch. Look how embarrassing this is. Will you f***ing shut up?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Did you think I could be governor?
Didn't cross my mind.
Appreciate that confidence.
What are you making, a rom-com?
Surprised you the most that you're hearing from people?
I would say just how proud everyone is in every part of the state to be Californian. Like almost like you got to be crazy to live anywhere else, but also how scared people are, like really scared.
Yeah, I'm scared.
But
of Trump.
What I see our state is people are optimistic. And
this is the gayest
there's a way for us to
fucking
get through it.
ad.
He
Can't be raping women. He's clearly
You ready to
gay.
do like a public endorsement video?
I don't think you need mine. You have Adam Schiff.
So what do you think voters should know about me besides
He's
what
so
they,
bad at social media.
only seen on TV?
That you're a really great dad. You're a really good husband. I think the kids and I truly can count on you for anything.
What race is she?
And if I gave you the choice, I'm not sure.
Ask Rock.
if you would choose to be governor of California or have the 49ers win the Super Bowl.
49ers. Governor.
She's
Definitely
acting.
being governor of California and making it a place where, when we retire, it's a place where our kids.
I haven't watched this whole thing
can
before.
afford to live.
You're going to be a great governor.
Thanks.
Wow. Well, you're not going to be a great governor anymore. Whew. Now, here's an interesting article. You know how I keep screaming about the video not matching the article? Well, this is one of those, assuming the same video appears when I clicked on it last, but we're interested in both. DHS launches probe into Eric Swalwell. So, see, pause. So this is also curious. Because remember, they had all these guys with Brett Kavanaugh being a rapist, and then Trump was a rapist, and we had E. Jean Carroll. So, again, I hate rapists. I hate Eric Swalwell. I hate the DNC. But I need some meat on my bone. And this is, I get a lot of shit for Epstein. I need evidence of underage girls. 15, 16 is Motley Crue backstage with Led Zeppelin. I need actual evidence. And when that happens, I want him buried under the jail. Oh, he is? Okay, good. So he had a Brazilian nanny who overstayed her work visa. Okay. It's retarded. This is what I keep saying about politicians. Everyone says evil. I say retarded. You got to cross your T's and dot your I's if you're running for office, dude. Like, I have an accountant. I always have had an accountant. Various different ones, but I've always had a man in charge of the money where I'm like, make sure that's totally legal. Make sure we pay all the taxes on that. Make sure there's no holes in that. Make sure we submit it on time. Because I know there's a million people waiting to attack. He should know that more than anyone. So anyway, this article is really boring. His nanny worked here illegally. Okay, I know. That's hypocritical. You get it. It's illegal. Yep. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. There's 35, 40 million illegals here. Lots of people are employing them, okay? I don't like it, but it's not exactly a smoking gun. But I bring you to that to show you the video. This is him. When this first...
Through anonymous
Stop. This was first published April 13th. I think the video was made like maybe yesterday. I'm not sure. But go ahead.
About me today through anonymous allegations. And I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment.
So Gavin Newsom's not governor because he's running for president, right?
Yeah.
And you would replace Gavin.
He might even be at the end of the amount of time.
All right. Well, don't you get any ideas in your head about replacing Gavin?
Okay, I won't.
So between
May
me and
happen.
my wife,
It may happen the odd cops night,
Okay,
but don't get into the habit.
all right.
and to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position. I also apologize to you if in any way you have doubted your support for me. But I think you know who I am. For over 20 years.
You know
I've
what
served
must?
the public.
Okay, shut up. We get your. It's a form letter at this point. Must be weird when you're the wife, and you're like, I'm going to stand by you no matter what. And then part of you is like, as the evidence starts coming out, you're like, I'm going to stand. You were at a hotel? Yeah, I told you that was the cruise. Oh, okay. Yeah, you said it was just guys there. It was. That's who I was hanging out with. It's not an all-male cruise. What? I was at a gay cruise? Okay, well, no. And then eventually, you got to give up. I sent you separately, texted you, the best video so far. So this is, well, I thought this was the most scathing piece of evidence, and it was at about noon today. So you're on a bed with a lady. It turns out she is a prostitute, and you grab her in an inappropriate way. Well, appropriate for a whore, but not appropriate for a married man. Everyone thinks she has a in that. That's just a little bow at the bottom of her dress. So she's slutting around. Okay, so now that looks like Implications of infidelity? Not good. Not good for a family man that does rom-coms and is a great dad. Should you not be governor? Probably not. But it's not prison. It's rude. Our boys over at 5NYC say they know who the other guy is in the photo. They're pretty reliable, 5NYC. Breaking Capitol Hill sources tell 5NYC that the third individual is other than Chicago lawyer Perry Alpha. Okay, let's click on him. All right, that guy. Is that a joke?
I think that's a joke, yeah.
Oh,
This guy's like in the Red Scare scene.
Oh, well, sorry, I missed your joke. So this woman here thinks it's a very big deal. But again, you know, when it comes to the Harvey Weinstein, I tend to defend some of the worst fucking people. But with Harvey Weinstein and stuff, and maybe it's because I come from the Terry Fred Armstrong world, I'm like, if it was, why didn't you report it? Why do you wait until he's running for governor? And then all of a sudden, your became too traumatic to hide.
The fact that he has now dropped out of the governor's race and resigned from Congress, is that justice in your view?
No, it's just the beginning. It's just the very beginning. And I know personally that we're not walking away from this fight.
For me, justice won't be until he can't ever harm a woman ever again. And he has faced the consequences for the women that he has harmed.
I think in regards to the governor's race, he never should have ran for governor to begin with.
Pause.
Knowing.
Well, that's a good point. Like, I want to run for governor, guys. Okay, we're about to invest $100 million in you. You'd please tell us if you've ever sucked a dick or roofied a chick or even sat in a bed with a prostitute. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you, but that's going to change our strategy. Nope, I'm squeaky clean. Throw your money at me.
And what about the Chinese
You swear to
spy?
God.
How was the Chinese spy thing not like a bigger deal?
So Fang Fang was allegedly, he claims that he was exonerated. And that's all been expunged from his record. I don't know. I guess he wasn't criminally prosecuted for it. Did I ever tell you about the time my neighbors had a nanny? An au pair, actually. And I was introduced to her, and her name was like Tsing Lao Ching Chi. And she goes, everyone just called me Ping Ping. And I go, okay, Ping Ping. And then one time we were very close neighbors. We shared the same driveway. And I was walking home. They had a piano in their house. And I could hear her playing the piano. And you assume Chinese women are going to be fucking awesome at it. And she's just going plonk, plonk, pling, plonk, 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 plonk. That night, when the father of the house got home, Mark, I said, I think the best line I've ever said in my life. And I said, I've got some bad news for you, Mark. I think Ping Ping might be a ding-dong. I still laugh every time I think of that. Dear old Nikki, you crack me up. Anyway, this is looking worse. Started out not looking too bad for him.
The kind of history and receipts that are out there. So that's a non-starter. And then in terms of Congress, I think he absolutely should have resigned. I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
30 or 40 years?
In that sense, I think we have served justice for his future victims.
Wow.
That won't exist anymore.
The fact that he has now dropped.
Okay, so that's interesting. That argument is now he wasn't that powerful, which he kind of was. But he was about to become too powerful, so that's why I chose this time to strike. All right, we're starting to get some meat on the bone here. What's the next one here? More footage. If this is weird. Everyone's like, holy shit, Benny Johnson's like, we got a smoking gun. Check this out. And it just appears to be him partying on a boat, which that kind of makes me think a lot of this, before I saw the stronger evidence, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, so he was partying with sexy people? Drunk? Sexy ladies? Okay.
Throwing petals like, do you love me at night?
head is spinning and it don't. A lot of guys there. You said forever, babe. Did you mean it or not? Hold on, hold on. My God, what terrible dancers. Okay, I was on a giant rich guy's boat. This scene's really weird. This got to be cocaine, right? You lay the phone on the ground, and you get, this isn't Swalwell, this is the short guy in the picture. And then you decide, this is the kind of thing you do when you're 9. Or younger, maybe 5. Ooh, great toe shot. What the fuck was that? There's Swalwell, like, no thanks. He's not good at social media, is he? There's a slutty chick. Hi. That's them taking off. That's a totally irrelevant video right there. Trivializes everything, too. More gossip. They say that there's some underage girls involved. All right, well, now we're getting... So that's the video we just saw. These videos are years old, which raises a serious question. How long has Eric Swalwell been sexually blackmailed? Great new angle. Maybe, you know, the Chinese are famous for getting you laid and then demanding extortion. I heard of a story once where a guy comes back and there's a girl on his bed and he's like, what the fuck, guys? No. How'd you get into my hotel room? And then that happens the next night. It's a girl with bigger tits. And he's like, stop putting women in my room. And guess what happened the third night?
A guy.
There was a guy. He's like, no, it's not the gender. This is an extremely serious national security concern, given that he sits on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. How does he stay after the Fang thing, even the allegation? Did he share classified information with any foreigners during his drunken escapades overseas? I hope the Department of Justice launches a thorough and immediate investigation. So now we've got 2 problems. And I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Allegations are obviously a massive deal, but if there's one thing that puts you in prison, it's when there's more than one. And they don't know each other. If you have 5 women saying you them and it's at different cities at different times, you're absolutely fucked. Now, that doesn't mean you're guilty, but a jury's going to go, well, if it was a disgruntled ex-girlfriend and her friend, maybe I'd be dubious, but one was in Arkansas, one was on a boat, one was in Britain. You sound like a rapist to me. That's what fucked Bill Cosby so bad. So I really think Russell Brand is looking at jail no matter how innocent he is. But this is now looking bad with Swalwell having all those 3 girls we just saw a few clips ago. All right. So now the evidence is stacking up. But as I was doing the show prep, it was coming into the pipeline. So while researching this story, I have to admit, despite hating his guts and not advocating for, when it started, I was like, okay, this is just like happens to Terry Richardson, Fred Armisen, everyone I know. Not everyone I know. Lots of guys. But then it was piling up live as I sat at my desk. So now we have something of consequence here. This is 112. This is a doozy. And if you own a cell phone, no, always zoom out. If you own a cell phone, you've already seen this video. But again, this show isn't just for breaking news. This is also a time capsule. So you can go back and to see what April 14th, 2026 was like at 3:40.
Let's watch.
In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company.
So this was 2018.
I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company, and I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events. I I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant. He was my friend. On the third occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had 1 glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body.
That looks like Catherine O'Hara.
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar.
In my what?
The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center in Connecticut. It had a profound
I'm going back
impact
and forth
on my mental health.
Well, there's sort of 3 things going on here. 1, he's fucked. Innocent or guilty, he's fucked. That's a lot of evidence. Those 3 girls and her, you're fucking toast, dude. If I was him, I'd go on the lam. Find a place with no extradition treaty. Same with Russell Brand. And then we come down to innocent or guilty, because now that in our corrupt justice system, it doesn't really matter if you're innocent or guilty or not. You're going to jail if someone wants you in jail. So it could be she's paid, the friend is paid, the journal's fake, and as far as the center goes, they found someone. We saw through Nick Shirley how corrupt all these centers are. So maybe you could find someone at a center. Jury doesn't think like me or you. So, but just playing devil's advocate, I don't know. I got to be consistent, and my consistent mantra is always go get a kit. The second something goes wrong, well, it would have ruined my career. I've heard girls say, well, then I'd be known as the girl that was raped by blah, blah, blah. Not really. I guess they get scared of like the Monica Lewinsky thing. Okay, well, if you don't report it, then he goes on and does it to other people. So now you're at least partly responsible for all these other rapes. What's 113?
I have suggested to our leadership, and it's been well received, that we need to have a campaign called We Won't Forget, or It'll All Come. Plain and simple, that's the message that we send to the colleges, to the law firms, to the entertainment giants, all these companies and individuals who've done these drug deals with Donald Trump. We need to make it clear as a Democratic caucus that when we have the subpoena power.
All right, that's enough. We get it. So the DNC doesn't want him anymore, right? And we're seeing all this stuff come up. Now, he's been in a very similar situation before. He's accused of fucking Fang Fang, a Chinese spy. And this is how the media treated it then when the DNC did want him.
Speaker McCarthy seems to have singled you out. He says that he had a briefing, as well as former Speaker Pelosi had the briefing from the FBI, and the FBI never came before this Congress to tell the leadership of this Congress that Eric Swalwell had a problem with the Chinese spy. Political vengeance seems to be the flavor of the day with the 118th Republican-led Congress.
Kevin McCarthy, even in his press conference on Thursday, continues to say false claims about some members, including Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, who are key members on the Intelligence Committee, saying that because of some allegations, including a false claim that Swalwell was involved with a Chinese spy.
This is all about the vengeance. It has nothing to do with factually what the reality is. These are small-minded, petty people who are now in charge of committees. And if they remove you, it's going to be a huge mistake, and people know it.
My wife does say, don't threaten her with a good time, because I'm going to be home now for more diapers to be changed, school drop-offs.
Swalwell has never been accused of any wrongdoing. The investigation in question revolved around a woman suspected of being a Chinese intelligence operative more than a decade ago. She helped Swalwell with a campaign event, some fundraising.
A very old FBI investigation from 2015. Basically, the FBI notified Swalwell that an associate of his might be a suspected Chinese spy. When he was notified, he broke ties with that person. And then the FBI investigated and nothing ever came of it. This was, 10 years ago now.
I guess they were going to release the files.
Yeah, it's clearly, it's so obviously, he's running for governor. Let's release the files. Maybe there's something in the files that will embarrass him because we couldn't bring a criminal case against him.
He's trying to politicize a report that came out years ago that actually clarified and exonerated Eric Swalwell. And now they want to change that so that to benefit just, the president's narrative.
The internet is forever, kiddies.
Governor. They're going to corrupt the DOJ. They're going to corrupt investigations. They're going to force people, to give up their careers just for his little petty vendetta. And because he doesn't want someone like Donald Trump doesn't want someone like Eric Swalwell to be able to fight him every day.
And they always claim that you were connected to an alleged Chinese spy. Do you feel like you are being especially targeted, that it's coordinated even with MAGA media almost?
Well, it's because I'm effective.
Republicans called for Representative Eric Swalwell to be removed from the Intelligence Committee, and this was over ties to a suspected Chinese spy.
Representative Swalwell was never in a criminal investigation.
What does Super Grok say? Hey, Grok, did Eric Swalwell fuck a Chinese spy? Can you say fuck? We've got Elijah Schaffer still going through it too, right? He's going through a divorce. See, that's the other problem with, really the thread here is that when there's a motive, you tend to get bad information. Like when Crowder was getting divorced, we heard how abusive he was and how evil he was. Elijah Schaffer allegedly, 16-year-old boy, allegations made regarding mental health and alcohol. Former Blaze TV is alleged to have while serving as a youth pastor, according to a transcript. Schaefer's ex-wife alleges he's on antipsychotic medication, is struggling with long-term alcohol and drug use. So you go, well, that's salacious. But then you scroll down and you realize these are all documents from a divorce. So, yeah, you're going to hear some pretty bad things when someone's getting divorced. You're going to hear Crowder, his wife, beats her. I don't know. I do know. Crowder is not an abusive husband. There might be some weird shit. I can be pretty vindictive, but I don't think that he just married. But anyway, I don't want to get into Crowder's divorce and Elijah Schaffer. I'm just saying there's a lot floating around.
So if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.